So what is telekinesis all about? Well, trauma for one. Something happened to your brain that hurt you really bad, and you have that pulling because you want to be close to your family. My son was taken off me years ago by Australian government. No reason, they just were taking kids off everyone. And it was a bad time. It first started in America, and then Australia copies of the dumb Americans. I shouldn't say dumb, but I feel so angry about it. And Australians started doing the same thing as what the stupid Americans hired this pedophile as their CEO to their Department of Child Protection. And they didn't do a back check, and he was ordering everybody to take everybody's kids. So they did as they're told, like dogs do as they're told. Yes, I'm very angry about it. And Australians copied. Stupid Australians had to copy off them. How dumb is that? So they took everybody's kids, including mine. They took my daughter first. She was nearly 15, mind you. They said she was so beautiful. They tried to send her to Japan for a trip, free of charge. Taxpayers' funds. And I said no, because it was a one-way ticket. How was she going to get back? So I said no, and I'm not signing papers to the passport or anything to allow her to leave this country, because I would never see her again. Anyway, she got too old for them. They gave her everything, bought her cars and whatever. And they took my youngest boy for no reason at all. They couldn't take my oldest son because he told them to F off. And they couldn't take him. He was stern, strong about it. And they took my son, allowed me to visit him every couple of hours, every month or so. And that was it. All I got was a couple of hours. They said, you'll never get your son back, they told me. And many people lost their children to this pathetic department. Oh, God, they're pathetic. They copy off anybody. If America does it, they do it here in Australia. They're just copycats. And one visit, I was really heartbroken to leave him. I wouldn't show my heartbreak just to please them, you know, that they were hurting me. And I kept it hidden, driving back to my home, which was our caravan park, because it's all I could afford at the time, because I lost all my pension money once you lose your children. And I had very little money, and I went driving along and so heartbroken, the pain, because I kept it hidden. I shouldn't have kept it hidden, but something happened to my head and it hurt. Something happened, and then all the poles, they were aluminium on the sides of the roads, both sides bent. They were straight up like that, and then they bent like that. And I thought, what happened here? How did it wasn't like that when I was driving through there to visit my son. And on the way back, I thought maybe my head did it, you know. And I heard of people with trauma, they can do things. So that would be why I am controlling that, and that would be why I can move crystals and other objects. Not as sometimes a lot, and sometimes very little, and sometimes nothing at all. Today it's very little. Sometimes the crystal will fly off my hand and I'd have to catch it. That's how much energy is around me at the time. or in me. So telekinesis is real. It depends on what triggers that part of the brain off. It could be hurt, trauma, it could be happiness. Someone might be born with the passed down from someone that was traumatic, in a traumatic situation, and pain and suffering, and passed it on through to their grandkids or something. But telekinesis is real. You just got to control it, find what triggers it off, and control that emotion. And once you do that, you can have fun with it and move stuff. Some people, they don't touch the objects to move them. Some people bend spoons. Some people can only move aluminium and paper. I move crystals. I just got to touch them, and they've got to be in my hand with my energy, and I touch them. I haven't tried without touching them. I suppose it would work, but there's blocks in my brain saying, no, you can't do that. It's kind of funny how you block yourself from doing things, but something traumatic in your life opens that window up, and your brain is just bang, smacking everything down. So I'm still in touch with that son and the daughter, still in touch with them. But the pain that was a few years back that he was released from their care, and the pain is still a little bit there. A lot, really. It's a little bit worn off, but it's a lot still painful of what they did to me and my family. Because I was stripped Australians. Wanted to copy off the Americans, like dumb people. They even, years ago, they took babies, mainly babies, off Australians because the Americans were trying to find children that could swim naturally without being taught. So the dumb Australians thought, we'll do that too. And they stole everybody's children. What could we do without weapons and without anybody supporting us? The government is the government here in Australia, which I hate the government. And they took everybody's kids and put them in care with people with swimming pools. And there were thousands and thousands of babies drowned. There's only a few that survived that could swim naturally. And then they stopped taking kids once they found the babies they wanted. And those babies didn't grow into water babies. They grew into normal children and never bothered to swim in the ocean or whatever mermaids do. They just lived a normal life. But that's what the Australians do. They copy. The Department of Child Safety in Australia, they copy off the Americans. So if the Americans are on a kick with doing something with kids, the dumb Australians will copy. And the way that they see it, they don't have the children, so they'll just take yours. And that's what happened. And this time around, children were getting abused and tortured and in car accidents. A lot of children were in ICU, intensive care units, from mainly all Department of Child Safety children. The children that they took were always ending up in filling the hospitals in the ICU units, filling them up, wards, rooms and rooms wards, everything was just full of kids from being taken and abused in care, including my son. He was run over twice, reversed onto. And they allowed me to visit him with tubes and everything coming out of his body. He kept dying and they kept reviving him. And he was bleeding out. They couldn't keep the blood in. They just kept pumping blood in him several times a day. So this is what we had to handle in Australia as Australians. It wasn't other people from other countries, it was only Australians that lost their kids through that department, that filthy department. But anyway. Someone's got to tell a story. Someone's got to speak up. And anyway, nothing good comes out of that department. So I hope one day America and Australia break apart from each other with those departments. Maybe one day they'll say to the Americans, we're not copying off you anymore. Like that'll ever happen, that dumb department. They've got to copy because they're pathetic. They want to be the first to do this and do that. It's always America the first, you see. So Australians are so pathetic. But that's where my the first time I noticed moving objects happened was through a very traumatic event in my life. Very traumatic. Visiting my kid and having to turn my back and go home. And I did no wrong. They just kept taking kids. They don't do it now because the Americans don't do it now, so the dumb Australians have fixed up their situation as well and don't do it now. Pathetic. I think Europe was going through the same phase. Copycats. Copycats off the Americans. Take your kids. Just take whatever you want from them. Take, take, take. That's what it was all about. So most people fled, but got caught later because it was all over Australia. Take free range of kids. Just take them, all of them. Abuse them. See how long they last. The strong ones lasted long. They even have a booklet. That's what this other boss of this department told me. He said, when I complained to him about the accident with my son, he said, oh, he did the right thing. He went by the book. We have a booklet. And he did the right thing. He rang the ambulance within the time frame. They have a certain time frame, like as if they can see in the dark where these people are, no cameras on property, and this guy's reversing twice on my son. On property, you don't reverse because you've got property, you can just go around. But he reversed twice onto my son. A ute crushed his lungs and everything. Pelvis. Yeah, I don't think he can have kids because his pelvis was crushed. But anyway, he went through a lot of abuse through the same family that run over him. He was whipped in the face. He had a broken shoulder, collar, whatever that bone there is. Cigarette burns on his ears. bruises and things all over. Like my tears. That's what Australians have to put up with the Department of Child Safety. That was in the 2006, 2005 onwards. Yeah, 2005 it all started, 2005, 2006. So that's how my brain was, my telekinesis was opened up from the trauma from the dumb Australians. Not Australians, just that department is dumb, filthy people. They would protect pedophiles than children. If they were told to, if they were copying, they would. Of course they would. So I studied the workplace with psychic. I thought, if I can do these things, maybe I could do other things. So I studied them, and I noticed that from abuse, torturing children with hot fingers blistering their skin, and that happened to me as a child as well. And it was mainly in the police force that the police did it. They were really bad. We called them demons. And some people probably like the word demons, but these demons were cruel. And these detectives were called them demons as well. And short for demons would say the D's. The D's are coming. Or the D's are across the road. Poor buggers. They'd be losing their kids for sure. And the kids would be raped and tortured, and they filmed it. They used to film it and make money. And anyway, I forget what I was talking about. Oh, yes. And with they'd be laughing in the films while they were abusing the children. They'd laugh and think it's hilarious, torturing kids, making them scream and all this. They thought it was hilarious, fun time. And it only happened in that department, the government department. So only with the study of the workplace, it was always kept in government departments. So it only affected them to laugh. And through touch and the mind, the way you think sexually, you've only got to touch people. They only had to touch other people in their workplace to get them to laugh at things that were cruel to us. And it spread that way. It even spread to American cops. They got it on YouTube, laughing at hurting, abused people or disabled people. And I called it laughing cops disease. They've got some scientific name for it, but I call it laughing cops disease. And I knew that you can keep a disease spread through the workplace and only the workplace. So out came rotting age disease. I thought, well, if they can have a ridiculous laughing the cops disease, they can have rotting age disease. So the woman that took my son, she started rotting with age really fast. And she tried dyeing her hair to change her identity as well, from being caught in the street as the one that took kids for no reason. She left the department and tried to hide her face. And she went to the pub one day, and they told me that she turned up there, and everybody looked at her face and started laughing at her face. The laughing cop's disease ended up back on them through normal people, and she looked older. She was rotting with age. And because she looked older and it was in the workplace, all the government workers were rotting with age as well and being laughed at, whether behind their backs or in front of their faces and whatever. But the laughing cop's disease just they can't get rid of it. It's still happening today. You see it on YouTube with Australian cops laughing at disabled people, how they scared them and made them piss themselves. Americans were doing it too, videoing it on their cop camera. So they started rotting with age a lot quicker. Then it spread in their workplace. So they got the youngest and the youngest boss to fight it. So they kept trying to fight this rotting age. And they can't fight it. Once it's in the workforce and it started within them, and laughing cop's disease is connected with it as well. There's everybody laughing at them. And that's only in their workplace. It only happens in government workplaces that this happens. So I got back that way. And one time I had to go by ambulance to the hospital because my diabetes was playing up. And when I got there, these trainee nurses, which weren't trainee nurses, because I made it a point to check out the faces of the Department of Child Safety in Australia, where I live, what they look like, because I want to know. And I went to the department, they all came out and I saw their faces, and I said, oh no, sorry, wrong department, I've got the wrong office. I'm looking for the electricity board. That was a good one. And I got to see their faces as they came out of their office. Some of them, not all of them, I got to see most of them. And the training nurses were the Department of Child Safety, and they attacked me and stabbed me with needles, and like they were sewing all over both arms, and I was bruised all over. And they kept saying, how old do we look? And I knew straight away, yeah, you're definitely Department of Child Safety. You're trying to get back at me for what I did, make you suffer with that through the workplace. And I was there, they put me in room 13. But it all got turned around, and I ended up with this 13 diamonds the next day after I went to pawnbrokers to buy a bracelet. Oh, by the way, I got away from them, and a real nurse came and took me to the ward and helped me with my medications, and they did blood tests and so forth. The hospital apologised. My cat is sticking his claws into me. It's a naughty cat. Yeah. He's trying to soften me up so he can sleep. And so the next day I got out of that hospital and I went to the pawnbrokers to get a little gold bracelet because I can't afford much. And I ended up in the rings, and I was just looking. I still wanted a gold bracelet, and then this ring, the worker told me to try it on. I said, no, it's too big. I can't afford anything like that. She said, just try it on. And I tried it on, and instantly I thought, I've got to have this. So I got a loan and I bought it that way. And I did get my bracelets. And that was to make me feel better. And the ring has 13 diamonds on it, and it was created in my birth month and the same year I was born, 1960. So what are the odds of that ever happening? And what I wear it all the time, every day, always. I never take it off. Sometimes I sleep with it on. And I never get attacked anymore. I almost sued the hospital for that, but I thought it's not their fault, so I didn't bother. But they have kept their distance from me from now on for some unknown reason. And they're still watching my page because you can't get rid of that. It's within the work force, it's in the work area. It's where they work, they cop it. Same as laughing cop's disease. It only happened with government departments abusing kids and sexually abusing them and spreading it and laughing at while they're filming it and all this sort of thing. It turned into a disease in the mind, which I studied a little bit, did some research a little bit on that. And he's just a little baby, he loves attention. And you can spread diseases that are really bad like that through sexual activities with the mind through touch. So I thought I'd try that out, but not laughing cop's disease, a different disease. So I tried it out with cuddling, see with the mind, why are you cuddling me? Do you want sex? Instantly you pass that cuddling disease on. So all the people I cuddled wanted more cuddles. They wanted more. And I thought, this is strange activity. So I kept cuddling people and they kept doing the same thing. They wanted more. And they go and cuddle other people and it spread that way. So you can spread diseases through the mind, through touch, as long as it's a sexual thought. It could be a negative sexual thought or a positive one, it doesn't matter. Any form of sexual thought, you can spread a disease. Oh, he's so big. He's so big and heavy. Fatty, aren't you? Eh? Fatty. Eh? Yes, you are. And Lucky's looking very jealous. He won't get off my lap. Come on, you get off. He needs a brush. He's molting a little bit. So anyway, that was, he doesn't want to go. He likes to hear my voice for some unknown reason. If he's sleeping in a hidden spot, if I start talking, he'll run out and watch me and he'll come up and smooch. He loves my voice. So anyway, that's how you can spread diseases through thought. And you've got to really have that thought given to you first before you can spread it, which it did happen to me. A fellow cuddled me. I thought it was a dream. It could very well have been a dream. It felt real. He was in black. and he was near a cave, and I was so afraid, and I was going up, hunched over to see if he's real, touching and grabbed me really fast. He was really fast and hugged me, and I thought, what's he doing? Does he want sex or something? And then he let go of me. And that's how I got the idea that, because I wanted more cuddles, and that's how I got the idea to try that on people from his disease in his arms. He's a very big man and very loving, kind man, and wore a long black dress, like a monk, but a black one. So I don't know if he was real or if he was alien or if it was just a weird, whacked out dream. But the cuddling disease spread. So he was diseased, this creature, half man or whatever it was. Very strange. His teeth were spiky and his eyes were round pupils. They weren't slits or nothing like that. He wasn't, what do they call them, lizard people. He wasn't a lizard person. He was something else. And he was diseased with this disease in his arms. So I tried it out and it did spread. So you can spread good things as well as bad things. And later on, I heard that watching news and things like this and other videos, pedophiles can also spread disease through touch because it's a sexual thought in their mind and they touch you, they spread it to other people. You've got to be really capable of getting rid of them sort of people. Their touch as well. You've got to cleanse yourself, like incense and crystals and things, or holy water, or wear a cross or something, or wear pentagrams, protect you from them, and evil eye protects you from them, which is this. It's little evil eyes on the beads and a big evil eye that protects you from them sort of people, so you don't get their disease and think the same way as them. You don't cop their disease through thought and touch. But it also works in the government jobs. You can spread diseases through them. And it'll stay in the workforce because it is the workforce area and they don't allow outsiders in to the workforce. So it stays in that area and that's it. And they cop it all the time. I reckon you could do so many things to that department because they're dumb. They're the dumbest people on this planet when it comes to kids and families. They have no idea. They can't even tell when someone's telling the truth or lies. If someone like grandparents came up to me, these elderly, and they told me their story about how they keep ringing and going to the Department of Child Safety because they fear for their life for their granddaughter, and they told them that they're sick of hearing them whinging. They were sick of hearing them whinging. So they kept turning them away. And after they told them, we're sick of hearing you whinging, not long after that, the baby, the young child, granddaughter, was bashed to death. She was killed. And they pleaded with help from them and never got it. The ones that want help never get it because they can't see it as help. They see it as something else. They want pretty girls like my daughter. and they want kids that they can take off you and put in other people's homes and let them get abused. They allow them to get abused. They don't do anything about it to help them. They let them get abused. Now, this is strange laws, and they get more money than single parent pensioners get. Families don't get enough money. Once they receive your kid, they get abundance of money, a hell of shitloads of money. And Aboriginal children, you get more money. So Aborigines target all the time if they've got kids, they're targeted all the time to lose their children because their relatives with Department of Child Safety and they need more money, so they get it. And they get loads of money. So anyway, that's my telekinesis, where it comes from is hell. It comes from hell. It's traumatic. Abused all my life as a child, severely malnutrition and abused, used as a punching bag from my parents, and starved while they ate food. The doctors did tests and verified that I was severely malnutrition. They said the same as the Africans, and they said you must have survived because from the vaccinations I was safe from diseases and things, which doesn't make sense. I survived because that's another story. I don't know how I survived it. Because my parents took my money. My mother kept taking my doll. I was on the dole, and she kept taking all my money. And those days, parents were allowed to take the children's money if they can prove that they're the mother or father. So I never had food because she took the money. Couldn't buy food. Sometimes I'd sneak in and eat their bread, and they'd complain about that. She complained about me. She hated me so much. So I went through so much trauma. I never knew what it's like to have parents, not loving ones. I don't know what it's like to this day. And I think, well, what I don't know won't hurt me, I guess. I've already been hurt. And so I've already gone through a lot of trauma, through head injury as well, from being beaten around the head at the age of 4 and 5 and all this sort of stuff. All young, while I'm young, under 10, under 11, she used to beat into me really bad around the head area as well. Face, legs. She mainly went for the legs and my bum. She used to make me pull my pants down and bend over so she could show my bum to everybody. She had this thing about young girls. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. My telekinesis came from hell. So you got to trigger it off how you are affected the most in your life. It might be something really happy, and that triggers something which I doubted, because happiness and love is a different energy. So, and me moving crystals, sometimes it doesn't work, getting it on a nice flat thing so it doesn't roll, and then making it move is another thing. Sometimes it's slow like then and stops just like then. Today I'm wearing my Alexandrite ring. I thought I'd take my big ruby off next. I usually wear the ruby on that finger, but it bumps into this ring, so I took it off for the day. I'm wearing my Alexandrite. I feel like wearing it. It feels good to wear it as well. I got from an American site on eBay. I think it's called Queen I Am, something like that. And it's very expensive to get it now. I won it on a bid and won the bid. Nobody else bid it. So I won it. And it's in gold. And I'm wearing my black and white pearls today, white ones and black ones, which I got from eBay as well. And you rub the pearls on your teeth. If they feel scratchy, they're real. And so these all feel scratchy, all real, but they're man-made, not man-made, but they're freshwater cultured. That's the word, cultured. They're freshwater cultured pearls. So I thought I'd wear them because I'm a little bit teary-eyed today. Down. So anyway, I better get off. I don't know if I can download this large. It's over 43 minutes. So anyway, that's how my telekinesis came about.